I took the Canucks to lose. Oh, what the hell? Something goes wrong, they win. Yeah, they got no coaching.
No, it's about money. They don't have enough money to get the right personnel.
It's about money and intelligence. If you got the dollars, you buy good scouts, you get the intelligence. Then a few bucks in the right hands under the table, and you got yourself a team.
Morning.
Hey.
How you doing? Hey, so what we got?
An attractive young woman, no signs of a struggle, no torn clothing, no physical signs of a mugging from where we stand, except she hasn't got a purse unless it's underneath her.
Well, looks like you were dressed up for a night in the town, weren't you?
French nails. I had a girlfriend get some done like that. It's a time-consuming process. Smells wicked. It goes deep into your skin, you feel it. If she's being attacked and defending herself, we'll find some skin under there. I'll bag him when you're done.
Rigor mortis, it's hard to tell if it's coming in or going out. It's impossible.
I talked to the parking lot attendant. He said he checks out at 11 o'clock. After that, it's a ticket dispenser. There's a couple of nightclubs in this area, so I did a check on her credit card.
Okay, I'm not seeing any visible wounds. There's no marks in her throat. There's nothing on her face, nothing on her skull. Weird.
I find it kind of strange how she's laid out here, kind of delicately.
Also weird. Very neat, like somebody took special care.
Looks that way.
Yeah, it's a real shame. That was really a good-looking young woman. She took care of herself. Somebody's gonna be missing her, that's for sure.
Okay, you guys take it from here. I'm done. Hello? Hey, Sonny.
Hey, that'll be your girlfriend.
Leo, you want to give it a rest. It's getting real old real fast.
I got no problem with that. To each his own. I like blondes, you like them dark. I figure you're born that way. There's nothing you can do about it. It's a genetic thing.
Now look at Sonny. I see an attractive woman. That okay with you? Why don't you hang here for body pickup?
What's his problem? All I'm saying is that other people may have a problem with race mixing. But I figure if that's the way you're bent, it's okay. That's all I'm saying. You know, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Am I wrong?
What's going on?
Leon's stirring up shit. I think it's time he took a holiday. We're gonna take care of this.
You can't just take him out. There's other ways to handle this.
He's an asshole. He's burned a lot of people.
Can we call him, try to smooth things over? Call your brother, pull some strings, get him back to Montreal.
He's got the call. He's still here.
Look, let's let this play out before we get in the middle of anything.
He's talking shit about me to my brother, and I'm gonna put a stop to it. Now, if I called you to help me out with the cleanup, are you gonna be there?
Yeah.
This is the call. Get in the car.
Okay. Okay, all right. Not now. Not now, not yet. Not yet.
It's 42-675. So what's the news from the front?
Here's a tasty little item. Coroner in Victoria called, said he found some body parts he thought might tickle your fancy.
Tickle me.
Feet, legs, and arms.
Legs and arms. Okay. What's the story?
There's a green garbage bag found under the Johnson Street Bridge. Some kid shooting rats with a crossbow finds it. Coroner remembers your memo on the red-headed torso the police found off Commercial Drive.
Really?
Since the parts match the general description.
Wow. Okay, so no head, no hands. Boy, someone's taking great care for someone else to remain anonymous. Okay, I got everything. I'm going to be in pathology.
All right. I'll let you know when the mystery man arrives.
Yeah, set it right down.
Okay, this is one where all is not what it appears to be.
Whoa. That's one vicious beating.
I'll get to the back in a minute, which is where the majority of bruising appears, but just to begin, we've got a variety of bruising from the shoulders to the thighs. Now, the first thing I notice is that some are relatively fresh, the reddish ones. Others are yellow, some purple.
This is not one single beating.
Correct. You'll also notice a variety of patterning, so some sort of instrument or instruments were used.
Yeah. Who would do something like that?
Take a look at the wrists. We've got ligature marks, I guess is from handcuffs.
Yeah, handcuffs.
It's looking a little like torture.
Maybe. Now, before I roll the body, I'd like to point out a couple more things. The jaw is fairly strong. It comes to a squarish end. You can feel 2 points. The breasts have been surgically implanted. The hips are narrow and flat. And finally, that's a surgically constructed vagina.
Get the hell out of here.
She was a he.
Pretty good-looking man, eh, Leo?
You're gonna have to change the gender on your paperwork. Wayne. Okay, let's have a look at the back.
Oh, my God.
I can't say for certain, but those welts look like the result of a whip of some kind. Maybe a riding crop. You can see the impression of a weave in the pattern.
Are you leaning towards homicide?
It's a fair assumption so far. I'm gonna go back over the externals and do a thorough record of the bruising before I open him up, so you can go or stay. It's up to you.
Question period. I mean, I can understand about the breast implants. I mean, you might want to help Mother Nature a little bit, but this,
Vagina.
yeah. How common is that? And I mean, could you tell? I mean, just by looking, you can't.
From what I've read, it's fairly convincing. You wouldn't feel the difference in the dark.
It just goes to show you. Can't judge a book by its cover, eh, Leo?
I've seen a few before, but they're not that common. And if you need help with identification, the breast implants have serial numbers. We can get those over to you.
Oh, good. Oh, that's good to know, yeah. Good to know. Thanks.
Hey, maybe there's a surgeon in town specializes in this kind of makeover. What do you think about that?
Well, from the looks of her, I say she had her surgery done 5, maybe 6 years ago. Full post-op transsexuals aren't that common.
All these pattern bruises, some old, some fresher than others. What does it look like to you? A repeated beating, like a ritual?
I suppose.
Well, let me know when you're gonna do the internal. I'm gonna follow up with a few calls.
Sure.
Hey, Sonny.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good. Busy. You?
Yeah, me too. Always. Wanted to ask you something. You want to go out for a drink sometime?
Sure. Yeah, I'd like that.
All right. Give you a call. You can play it by ear, whatever. You know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Great. See ya. Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate the help, thank you. Well, that was a transgender clinic. They seem to think by the description our victim is Allison Cody, also known as Alan Cody. No current address, but they gave me a number for his family here.
You want me to make the call?
No, I'll do it. This ain't gonna be easy.
Pulmonary embolism. I opened up the lungs and saw it immediately. Clot to the pulmonary vessel, which resulted in hypoxia, lack of oxygen to the brain, and then cardiac arrest.
Can you tell me if the blood clot was thrown as a direct result of the beating?
Possibly. I've scheduled further work for tomorrow, but even then I may not be able to determine that. Why the sudden interest?
Just monitoring progress. Thank you. Dominic, let's take a walk. That transgender that was beaten, Alan Cody?
Yeah, what?
I want you to go over to his apartment. You see any personal items lying around, I want you to seize them.
You want me to seize? The police are treating this like a homicide. You realize that?
Patricia tells me that she hasn't determined the cause of death
I'm
yet.
just talking to Patricia. She's leaning towards homicide.
Not yet.
Do you mind telling me what's going on here?
Jimmy?
I want to exercise as much discretion as possible.
Jimmy?
Okay.
All right, I'll go over there. I'll seize all this stuff.
I just have to draw up a order of seizure, and then
All you have to do is sign it.
She was a very sweet woman.
Uh-huh.
You recall seeing her the night before last?
No, I can't remember the last time I saw her.
Hey, what's the pleasure?
Well, I've got a coroner's order to seize. What do you guys got?
Nothing.
Warrant?
No. No, we're just here questioning the manager.
Okay, well, I'll maintain continuity on the evidence, and then if it turns out to be a homicide, everything's kosher for you guys, okay, when you get your warrant. Now, this order that gives you the right to seize anything that I want put into my investigation. Is that okay with you?
You volunteered to show us through the place. So far, we found no evidence of any violence, just a whole lot of pills.
Pills? What kind of pills?
Estrogen. Large economy size.
I don't need those.
If this isn't a homicide, then what the hell is it?
I don't know. Patricia hasn't made a determination yet. Jury's out.
You and Francois should be talking face to face.
He's got two faces, Danny boy. Which one are you talking to?
Whatever happened between you two, get it straightened out, or I gotta find partners that can get down to business.
You know what I'm doing out on the coast? I am out here because Francois's goddamn brother doesn't even trust him.
If I put you two together, you can talk it out, right? Nobody else.
If he wants to do that, you
Fine.
haven't told me.
Okay. Put it together for tonight.
Good. See ya.
I got 30 years on the job. And I'll tell you, if this isn't a homicide investigation, I don't know what is.
Well, that may well prove to be the case, but I'm not yet done with my examination. I can tell you where I'm at so far.
Oh, good. Please.
Alan Cody suffered cardiac arrest caused by a clot to the pulmonary vessel.
Through a clot as a result of a beating.
Perhaps. I examined all the bruising in an attempt to definitively ascertain which of the events might have caused the clot. That proved impossible to determine.
But it was one of them, so whichever one it was.
I can't say that with certainty. I mean, you can get a clot like this from sitting in an airplane seat for too long. And there are also other factors. Alan was taking estrogen hormones and he was a smoker. Both of those factors could contribute.
Yeah, well, you let me know if he smoked himself to death. Because if that's your ruling, I'm going to call another pathologist to conduct any further homicide investigations.
That's your prerogative. I don't work for you anyway. I work for the coroner's office.
Yeah. You have any further insight, you let me know.
You'll be the first.
Oh, really? Well, that'll make a change from this morning.
If you're accusing me of something, I would prefer if you make an official complaint to the chief coroner.
You mean your boyfriend?
What did you find?
Well, a couple of pissed off detectives. Are you going to tell me what I was looking for, or am I to be kept in the dark on this one? Because I'll tell you right now, I won't play that way.
I received a call suggesting that Alan Cody's business affairs might prove sensitive to certain citizens if they were to come under public scrutiny.
Oh, yeah? So these affairs, relevant to his death?
That's all you need to know right now. What I need to know is what you found.
What did I find? I found some estrogen pills, and we got a computer, but the hard drive's been erased.
I'd like to know what's on there.
You would?
Call a forensic computer analyst. See what can be retrieved.
I already have. It's being worked on.
Good.
I won't be yanked around this, Jimmy. Now, you asked me to intervene. I'm assuming it's because you can't do it or you don't want to do it. Okay. But if I'm involved, I'm involved. And
Is someone gonna give me the courtesy of telling me why you've interceded in the homicide investigation?
Well, I'm just following procedure here. I went down there, you guys weren't seizing anything, so I grabbed it, and if it turns out to be homicide, we've protected all your evidence.
And if it turns out not to be homicide and you dump the case, we're 6 or 7 days down the road with nothing. We haven't even started.
Yeah. Well, the minute that Patricia makes a ruling, I want everything you've seized.
No problem.
Thank you.
That's okay, I'm just doing my job.
All right, if it's ruled homicide, I won't interfere. In the meantime, I'm trying to prevent unnecessary damage from being done.
Hold it. Wait a minute. Here's, if this is ruled a homicide, there's damage that can be done?
Entire careers will be destroyed.
This is bullshit.
Well, Da Vinci had the proper paperwork. We have no authority over a coroner's order.
We're looking at the apartment as a possible crime scene.
Didn't have enough evidence for a search and seizure. You still don't?
We're still pursuing this as a homicide. You understand that?
Yeah.
So where are we?
Well, we had no luck with the credit card receipts from the parking lot. A lot of unrelated citizens out on the town.
We talked to the surgeon that did Cody's makeover. He doesn't know anything about his personal life. The building manager was a washout, and his ex-wife, she was not helpful.
You know, going on the theory he was into S&M, we contacted a couple of bondage houses. Nobody admits to knowing him.
Terrific.
Did you know that the police are treating your ex-husband's death as a homicide?
Yes, they told me. Alan had a difficult life right to the end.
You know, our pathologist mentioned that the nature of some of his injuries suggested that he had been beaten before. Now, I'm sorry. To have to ask you these highly personal questions, I apologize, but it's just from the standpoint of trying to stop this from happening to somebody else. Do you understand?
Your questions can't be any more difficult than those I asked myself.
Right. So, okay, then. Was Alan engaged in any sadomasochistic practices that you know about?
Not that I know of. I have a son by Alan. It's already been very difficult for him to deal with his father's change. Is there any way to spare him this?
See, here's the problem. If they rule this a homicide, it's going to go to trial. And at that point, it's these kind of things that get sensationalized.
I guess it's just best to deal with it frankly and tell him the truth.
You know, the police will make a psychiatrist available to you if you wish, and to your son.
I've seen a few of those over the years. They have a lot of theories and explanations, and yet it still remains a mystery to me. Alan was a sweet person.
You know what I think happened? I think Alan was dating some guy who got heavy with her, and she put out that she was a he, and he flipped on her.
I don't think that's the angle.
Well, what then?
Well, if she's into S&M, it could have been an accident.
So why all the scurrying around to seize the computer? It's a cover-up.
No, it's somebody's scared shitless. Their name's up in that list, and it's going to go public.
Yeah, that'd be the guy who calls up Flynn and puts the finger on him to sit on top of it. As long as he can, keep it in your jurisdiction.
Smells like that to me.
You know, some of these citizens that you're going out of your way to cover up might be involved. The guy was beaten and dumped. I mean, how can you not figure it's a homicide? You know what it smells like to me? That somebody reached out and put you in their back pocket. That's what it smells like.
Nobody's put me in their back pocket.
Oh, yeah, and I suppose you didn't put pressure, you and Flynn, on Patricia to jam up on the autopsy report? So you could run around and cover some asses?
You think that? Because if you think that, I want you to go yourself to Patricia and tell her what you just told me.
Okay. Sorry.
It's all right. See ya.
See you later.
For a couple of mushrooms on this.
So information can bury it, but you can't kill it.
That's right. And whoever erased the hard drive didn't know much about data storage. Because you can hit erase files, right? And they disappear from the retrieval system. But all that does is dump a lot of information on what's really there.
So is there any way you can tell if they made a copy before they dumped it?
No, not that I know of. Now, it's all on this disk. I didn't take a long look, but a couple names jumped out and scared me. Can you keep my name out of this?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so you can tell whoever it is that's calling you to see if their name's on this list, that everything's fine. Their ass is covered. As long as they weren't directly involved in Alan Cody's death.
You're telling me you're not going to give me that disc?
That's right. You know why? Because you handed me this case.
You'll take all the heat if it's ruled homicide.
Hey, that's right. You can lay it all off on me, which is what you probably wanted from the beginning here anyway. We've all been playing some game of bluff poker or something, right? Well, now I'm holding the ace.
Yes?
I'm, Dominic Da Vinci from the Vancouver coroner's office. I have a card. Can I come in?
May I ask what this is about?
Well, see, under the term of the Coroner's Act, I have the right to enter any premises where I think a death may have taken place.
And do I have the right to have a lawyer present?
You can call whoever you want, but I'll tell you right now, I'm coming in. If you refuse to let me in, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to call downstairs. But a minute and a half from now, the boys in blue, they'll come in too.
I have a business license.
You know, I'm not here from City Hall to investigate a noise complaint, you know.
My lawyer's on his way.
Good. Then while we're whiling away the time, could we discuss Alan Cody?
I know Alan as Allison.
Intimately, yeah. I'd wager.
We're close friends and business partners.
How's she doing lately?
I don't know. I haven't seen her in a couple of days, but I assume that something's wrong. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here.
Fine. That's great with me if we can drop the bullshit. Yeah. Your close friend, Alan Cody, also known as Allison, is dead. Result of a beating.
I'm distressed to hear that.
Me too. Now, we know that for the last 2 years, he's been working here exclusively, pretty well on a regular basis, right? Now we find the body in a parking lot a couple days ago, 3 days ago, I think. And covered in these welts and bruises, and it's occurring to me that some of the instrumentation I see on display here may be the reason why.
I'm going to wait for my lawyer.
You already said that. Now, here's the other thing. I'm in possession of the client list, and I've seized it legally from Alan's apartment.
I see.
So before the police see, is it possible that maybe you could enlighten me a little bit, and it'd be good for you?
I'm very sorry, but my business demands that I keep my client's confidence.
Please don't make me want to put one of your body parts into one of your pieces of machinery here.
I don't know what happened to Allison, but whatever happened to her didn't happen here. It didn't involve me.
You know, your non-cooperation is making my mind jump right to homicide. Want me to phone the police?
Do what you have to do.
Done. Hey. Yeah. Come on up. I would get yourself a new lawyer, too. Should have been here by now.
This is a photograph of Alan's body. There's another photograph of some injuries inflicted by a whip. There's some more injuries inflicted by some other instrument. These here are ligatures on the wrist from handcuffs. I gotta tell you, we find a match with any of the instruments seized from your place of business, we will be pursuing homicide charges.
You haven't even got enough to pursue a charge of manslaughter, let alone homicide.
Yeah, but it ain't entirely out of the picture either. Now, if your client cooperates with us, we look favorably on that, so will a judge at a trial.
Mr. Cody's lifestyle was such that he accepted these mild injuries.
Hey, you can adopt any twisted interpretation of a fun lifestyle that you want. But Alan Cody's death doesn't come under the category of a mild injury in anybody's interpretation. Not even if one of the perverts on your client list wears a costume and pounds the desk with his gavel.
I ask that you refrain from casting aspersions on my client's character.
Oh, which character would that be? The Roman gladiator or the Marquis de Sade?
Why don't you just tell us when it was that you last saw or heard from Alan? This will be over.
4 days ago.
You know what? Just let's stop it right here, all right? I have a sworn statement from a witness. Says he saw him at your door the night of his death. You want to reconsider your answer?
Leo. Patricia's final autopsy report.
This is bullshit. There's no way the cause of death was undetermined.
Well, you guys want to treat this as a homicide, you'll have to order a new autopsy, different pathologist.
Yeah, well, that's what we're going to have to do. You want to authorize one?
Whatever you want. Just remember, it can take another couple of days, and you make it the same answer.
So be it. Stop the interview.
You know what pisses me off? These people are running a business where they torture people, and we have to handle them with kid gloves.
You want to tell me what's going on?
Sure.
You only brought my detectives in here because you thought this was a homicide.
Or it might be. It was ruled undetermined. I want to find out what she knows. She knows something 100%. Just want to keep the pressure up. Now, if you guys want to order a second autopsy, it suits me. I'll tell them, hey, cops are still treating this like a homicide. It works beautiful. I want to put another scare into her. That was a relief, huh?
It's temporary, I'm sure.
Yeah, they'll be back. But we'll still see each other because I'll be ordering the inquest.
On what grounds?
On what grounds? On the grounds that I think there may be a public interest in the operation of these S&M parlors like your client has. And I may have to pull a few names off that list, I'll warn you right now. I don't know if your QC explained this to you, but anyone subpoenaed who chooses not to appear, they face jail time. So all the privacy you're trying to protect, you understand this? Will be so much dirty laundry flapping in the public backyard.
But what do you want?
I want a one-on-one with the mistress here. Alone and off the record, that's it.
You got a second?
Sure. What's on your mind?
I just got a call from Sergeant Regan. He's asked me to do a second autopsy on Alan Cody.
I was expecting that. He wants a homicide ruling, and he would love to prove me wrong.
If I do find homicide, then I'm probably going to be called to testify against your findings.
Well, that's all right. I'm pretty confident in the witness box.
Okay. Thanks.
Have you finished?
Yeah.
You might have.
Go ahead.
So that's one hell of a client list you've got.
There's a demand.
Could you tell me about that? In your opinion, what is it these people want?
Well, it's not about sex in most cases.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it is, but in my experience, those are the rare exceptions. If you're submissive, we call them slaves.
Slaves?
Yeah. Then you're seeking domination or a release from something.
Something you can't get in your straight life?
Basically, yeah. Sometimes it's an extension You know, a very extreme extension of their personality acted out in a safe environment where they're not judged as freaks, outsiders.
So Alan, he was a submissive.
To a degree. Yeah. Having a little trouble with this concept?
Well, yeah. I don't get the attraction to slavery.
You've never engaged in a submissive act.
Excuse me?
Never allowed your partner to dominate you?
This isn't about me. This is about your clients.
Well, you certainly have something in common with my clients. You're very secretive about your personal desires.
I'm in a public office, like a lot of those names on your list. Now, none of us like any details from our private life to be known publicly that might affect our ability to do our jobs effectively.
It's very true.
So let me hazard a guess. The person that beat Alan and perhaps even caused his death would be a dominant?
I'd say that's a safe assumption.
And you are a...
I'm a dominatrix.
I see. So this is what I want you to consider. They have ordered the second autopsy. Now, if it comes back it's ruled a homicide, that means you'll take the stand.
And if it's ruled undetermined, then you'll order an inquest, in which case I'd be compelled to testify.
No, actually, there's a third option here. You just tell me exactly what happened and who was involved. And I promise you right here, right now, only those people or persons have to come forward.
You've read the list. If you look very carefully, I'm sure you'll see there are a number of very powerful people who have a great deal at risk if they're exposed.
Your clients, did they know you kept the list?
Not all of them, no. So you see, you've put me in a very delicate and dangerous personal situation.
And the difference between that and the situation that Alan was in is what exactly? Look, I speak for the dead. Now, the living, they have the opportunity to speak for themselves. Now, my advice to them is to take it. Otherwise, you risk getting locked away somewhere. 24 hours a day, you can play slaves. But there's no break to go back to the office.
Mick? I should go. It's getting late.
Yeah. Here, I'll help you with that.
Thanks.
That's very nice. Want to stay?
I'd like to. But I think we should probably take it a little slow.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm a patient man. I can wait.
All right, look, I talked to Leon. I got everything worked out. He doesn't want any problems with you or your brother. He says he's getting mixed signals.
It's already taken care of, Danny.
Taken care of? It's done? Is it done?
It's being taken care of, Danny. All right?
There's a narc from Montreal watching this place.
Hey, you know the guy?
This guy who used the Dorval Airport pointed him out to me. He's a horseman. He works big cases. All right, we need to sit down with your brother. We got to get this whole thing called off now.
It's too late. Arrangements have already been made.
Jesus Christ, this guy see me come out of Leon's building!
Now, what the hell are you doing in my car? What? How do you know he didn't follow you in my car?
Because I shook him. How
do you know that?
No. Would I be in your car?
I don't know.
They get a tap on the phone and we're cooked. We gotta get to Montreal. We're getting on a plane tonight.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Have a seat. Okay, before we go any further with this, I'd like to make it perfectly clear that the coroner's office is in no position to cut any deals. The police and the Crown Council, however, are in a different position.
Well, then perhaps that's who we should be speaking with.
Well, you know, we're still waiting the results of the second autopsy. Now, like I pointed out last night, the clock is ticking here. If it comes back homicide, the client list goes right over to them. And I guarantee you they make the deal with the first person through that door. So,
It happened very suddenly. We were at the end of a session. Allison was having a cigarette and she just slumped over.
did you call 911?
She was dead immediately.
Was there a third person involved? Is that who I think it is?
Yeah.
And what was his part in all this?
We'd prefer that you spoke to him directly.
All the bruises reveal some clotting. Across her lower back, the contusions are very heavy. The evidence is more pronounced in some of the yellowed bruises. Some of these older bruises are as much as a centimeter deep, indicating a different instrument was used and the impact more traumatic.
I admit I have a secret life, and I've tried to protect it. But it's important to me that those close to me are protected as well.
Well, you know, I think there's a very good chance of doing just that. But from my standpoint, from where I'm sitting, that's totally up to you at this time. Let's just see if you can answer a few of my questions. Now, you are not compelled to answer them. You can choose to have a lawyer. But if you do, well, I have to take a different step, and this can't remain a private conversation.
All right.
Okay, how long have you been using Mistress Harriet's services?
I read her ad in the paper a couple of years ago, and I was curious, but, you know, embarrassed. At first, it was only sporadic, but then I realized how much I needed it. After that, it became a more regular thing.
How regular would regular be?
A couple of times a week.
I've been having a lot of difficulty understanding what this activity satisfies. I mean, a man like you is such a great life. You have people that you care for. You have a position in society that many people would envy.
With all of that comes a lot of responsibility, and that comes with a lot of pressure. Some people might take a drink or jump out of an airplane. I don't know how to explain it. I used to jump on people. I used to hurt them. I don't do that anymore. I get a release from what I do.
Okay. So what happened with Alan?
There are certain safe words that you agree on that if either one of you uses them, then all the playing stops.
The playing? Okay, so did you and Alan have a safe word?
Yes.
Did you hit him?
Yes.
With what?
A crop.
Nothing else?
No.
Did you go to the safe word?
She didn't have to. I didn't continue.
Why not?
I go to Mistress Harriet for punishment. I do what she orders me to do.
Mistress Harriet ordered you to beat Alan?
Yes. It wasn't something I had done before.
Okay, so now you stopped. So what the hell happened?
Alan was smoking a cigarette. I was booking another appointment. She just fell over.
And did you try to revive him?
I couldn't think what to do.
You couldn't think what to do. Between the two of you there, you couldn't think to call 911. But you did gather your thoughts together enough to load Alan into a car and then drive him across town, dump him in a remote parking lot. No identification. And then you did think to call someone else in that client list who called somebody else, in an effort to cover the whole thing up. And now you promised here, you promised me that you'd be frank with me, and now you're telling me that you were just following orders. I had you pegged for a general.
Many of the bruises showed signs of clotting. I believe the clot originated there.
As a result of the latest beating?
There's no way of telling. Could have been an old bruise that released the clot when it was struck again during the most recent beating. It could have been any combination of events. I do think the most recent beating was fairly superficial.
So where does this leave us?
Well, no certain incident, no definitive time, no definitive cause, no intent to cause death. That leaves us with a legal act between two consenting adults. Am I right?
Thank you, Sonny.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your ruling?
Undetermined. We don't know if it's natural or if it's an accident, but there's no reason to believe it's a homicide.
Has everyone signed off on that?
I don't think you'll get two doctors anywhere who'll sit in a witness box and argue with two pathologist findings, do you?
Take care of everything else?
Yeah. Everyone's been put to bed.
You destroy the disc?
Trust me. Dominic here. Look, hold on, slow down. You're at whose residence? What? Oh yeah, were there drugs or alcohol involved? Well, okay, fine. So when was she last seen alive? Do you happen to know the name of the deceased? Seal the apartment, call homicide, I'm on my way.